Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today for this week. I'm the man they call Meathead, joined by the lovely Linda Kay, and, well, I guess he's lovely. It's Matthew Thomas. Matthew,
right.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic, Meathead. Great to see you too. This wonderful
scene
to broadcast all the wrestling news that's fit to broadcast.
Then the lovely Linda Kay at lovelylindak.com. Linda, what's going on in your world?
Just getting prepared for some upcoming shows we have, and just anxiously awaiting on this weekend's Elimination Chamber to see how things shake up, I should say, in our PWR fantasy draft.
I was going to say, in our draft, in our wrestling world, it's time to shake things up again. But Linda, before we shake them up, please tell us about our sponsors.
That would be collarandelbowbrand.com. Make sure to go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions. If you always want to save a little cash, which don't we all, use promo code LindaK, that's LindaKay, to save 10% off your order anytime, any day, anywhere. And our friends over at ProWrestlingInsurance.com. Make sure to go to ProWrestlingInsurance.com, say hi to Chris, find out how you can save money, making sure that you get covered should you get hurt. It's a unique concept. It's a supplemental coverage plan, whether you have health insurance or not. Plans as low as $8 a month to make sure you are covered if you ever get hurt, as well as plans for event promoters. If you are planning a wrestling event coming up soon, it'd be great to visit Chris and find out more info on that, as well as life insurance options, whether you're in pro wrestling or not. It's available for everyone. ProWrestlingInsurance.com.
There you go. Fantastic. One little bit of news I'd like to get to before we start getting into the week that was. Woo. You know we're going to talk about this. After NWA's pay-per-view happened this last weekend, he did not win the NWA Heavyweight Championship over Tyrus, otherwise known as Brodus Clay. Somebody call my mama. When does Matt Cardona or Zack Ryder show back up in the WWE, Linda Kay?
I would think very soon if that does happen. Obviously, we've seen Chelsea Green all over WWE programming. She's been great. It's been great vignettes with her and Adam Pearce, and of course we saw her in ring this Friday night SmackDown as well. But with that being said, I would assume, since Matt Cardona did not get that NWA title, that we should see him on WWE programming sometime soon, if that is indeed true.
If that is indeed true. Matthew Thomas, for those that don't know, Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green married, and they were really ripping up the independent scene. Does Matt Cardona finally finish it off and come back home?
That would make sense. And I think the night after WrestleMania seems like a good place for him to premiere. You know, you've got the road to WrestleMania kind of building up. I don't necessarily see him thrown in the mix between now and then, but I think that night after WrestleMania is, maybe you have, he did have that WrestleMania moment of the Intercontinental title at the ladder match. Maybe you have some type of multi-person match, and you don't have somebody announced, and maybe it's him.
So it's almost like the wild card, the Joker card, if you will.
Yeah. When, like in AEW, when they're wrestling for the hemorrhoid donut or whatever it is.
But I will say this, I think between what he's done on the Indies, what he's done in NWA, what he's done all over, I think I don't know that you get the Zack Ryder character. I think you get potentially just Matt Cardona. I think he's built up enough equity with that name and, going away from a little bit. Because you go back to Zack Ryder, you're talking, that 2010, 2011, 12 era, kind of the same time with Robbie E., kind of that Jersey Shore-esque character that was kind of representative of where the pop culture was at the time.
Matthew, we lost your video. Keep going, though.
And I think you get Matt Cardona back. So Matt Cardona to premiere in WWE now, and I know they've done a lot better job of referencing like history and lineage and stuff. Yeah. But it would also be kind of cool if Matt Cardona comes in with no reference to Zack Ryder at all, just this brand new character.
Well, that'd be okay. Matt Cardona really debuting in the WWE as one of the Edge heads, if you remember that. It was Ryder and Hawkins and Ryder. So they came dressed out as Edge's guys and got that rub as the tag team champions.
Or, you just put another idea in my head. Edge feuding with Judgment Day. Wouldn't it be great to get a little backup maybe from Zack Ryder? Man, I'm going to change. I'm going to go 100% different now. But, him coming back to the aid of Edge.
Okay. All right. Well,
Kurt Hawkins?
Maybe. I mean, he had that long losing streak for a while that he was able to finally break.
That's right.
So, you never know. He might be back. Hey, let's talk about the week that was. We're going to start off with Raw last week. With Raw being so far away, we normally don't go too deep into it, but I do want to get to the cage match that happened on Raw last week. And finally, Becky's got a little bit of backup going up against Damage Control. You know, you always had Io, you always had Dakota, and then you had Bailey there. She got a little bit of backup, and it was the woman that she feuded with last year, if you remember. I had that match at Elimination Chamber. Well, she's back now this year. It's Lita, Matthew Thomas Lita, back in WWE.
Yeah, a very unexpected return. Yes, she had the kind of one-off last year, but you didn't expect her to be in the running right now. So one of the genuine, surprise returns that WWE's had in quite a while.
I'm confused about this, Linda, though, because remember last year we kept on this over and over. Yep, she's at the Elimination Chamber. Then she'll go ahead and be at WrestleMania. She never showed up for WrestleMania. Linda, this time, does Lita stick around for the Chamber and WrestleMania?
That would be a unique idea. I would hope so. Otherwise, we're just getting teased once again that we'll get Lita, WA Hall of Famer Lita, back at the grand stage of them all. I was thinking about the surprise of Lita. Monday night's Raw did not have Rhea Ripley, but we had Beth Phoenix on, we had Lita on, so just give a little.
Had a lot of strong females.
Yeah,
strong females.
So I'm wondering, was it just a one-off, just to kind of help get revenge for what happened last year, just to get some unfinished business, if there was unfinished business, but also just to help, Becky with that win, since it was not even as far as the assistants at ringside with a cage match. But if we can see Lita, why not? Let's bring some more Lita to the mix.
We got the Chamber coming up this Saturday. Don't know if she'll be showing up or not. None of us have her on the PWR fantasy draft, but none of us saw her coming either. Let's move up to AEW Dynamite. Now we're going to run down the entire show here. And AEW Dynamite was an interesting show. Let me ask you guys this before we get into it. Has either of you seen Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise, Cameron Diaz?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Been a while, but yes.
Do you think MJF's a fan?
Oh.
I did
just wondering.
Did not make that connection.
Because one, his reference was a little holy smokes. TNT's got to be talking, or Turner or TBS has got to be talking about the
visuals, if you will.
The visuals, yeah. That's as far as I'm gonna go. But that whole story sure did seem like it was a little Vanilla Sky-ish to me, Linda Kay.
Yeah, and why not throw in the name, quote, for legal reasons, we'll call her Liv, and
right,
in the mix there. He's found the way to get people talking and continue things stirring.
Remember, he's a scumbag, and he knows he's a scumbag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, we hear it repeatedly from Tony Schiavone about how much of a scumbag MJF is. But yes, now that you mention it, that is very reminiscent to what happened in the movie Vanilla Sky. Sorry for any spoilers there. But man, what
are we at? 20 years now? I think it's okay.
Hey, there's better be seen everything. But yeah, it was a huge Dynamite, focusing a lot on MJF. We saw MJF at the beginning, in the middle, and then pretty much, or at least various segments, I should say.
Yeah.
But it's just really adding more feel of that fight between him and Daniel Bryan. I mean, I'm loving this. It's making us want more. I know we still have a ways away from Revolution, but we'll get there. But right now, I like how things are going. Pretty crazy Dynamite there.
I think they are. And Matthew, the match between him and Takeshita, solid. It was a banger, as they say. The kids are saying. But obviously MJF with the win. Danielson comes to the ring to the aid of Takeshita. Boy, oh boy, I will get his name right eventually. So Danielson's going to have a match with Rush, and he's having a little bit of trouble getting out to the ring. Did you see the way Aubrey looked at MJF? One.
Right, slow, a little bit of a slow count. There might have been some.
Two. Yeah.
Might have been I don't know that was by the rule book there.
Matthew, your thoughts on Bryan Danielson officially now qualified as the #1 contender?
Yeah, I think everybody knew this was the way it was going to go. Like we kind of talked about last week, it's been fun watching him wrestle every week. I don't think anybody's ever going to, hopefully not take for granted the fact that that Danielson's healthy and in the ring. I think the storyline's been fairly predictable. And to go back to MJF opening the show, AEW is about on par with where WWE was a few years ago with these quote unquote eliminations. Thankfully, they're not going the route that WWE did of a lot of champions losing non-title matches. They've never done, best of my knowledge. And I get it. It's a little bit more practical in the scheme of the rankings and the fact that they never really come out and say, but I'm assuming the person that loses the eliminator match goes to the back of the line. But it seems getting a lot of that here recently.
I love that jacket MJF had on it. It said MJF and it said 2024 on it. Because remember, the bidding war of 2024 is next year. He's built himself up a little thing. And, that's kind of been his own thing. It's not really a bidding war. I mean, obviously, his contract was supposed to expire in 2024. But I think that's just another story that he's kind of built up for himself. Hey, Ricky Starks took on the Jericho Appreciation Society in the Garcia Guevara Gauntlet. This was pretty convoluted for me, Matthew, but we got some matches out of it.
There's a lot going on here. I mean, at least he didn't run the gauntlet. That kind of seems like predictable storyline and this type of stuff. But between this and what we saw like last week, I think it was at the NXT event where you had somebody sweep a 2 out of 3 match. I like it when they do kind of use these tropes, but don't go the traditional expected route. And we kind of got that here with some crazed fan in the crowd.
Apparently, Jericho was sitting out there the whole time, sat there at the show the whole time. Now, if I'm Jericho, I would have got up and got concessions and whatever and just sat there, and then out of nowhere, pop, there's Chris Jericho underneath the mask. The Acclaim get interviewed backstage for their big match. And, I thought there would be some sort of shenanigans, and we'll get to it in a little bit with Billy Gunn and the Ass Boys, but not as many as we thought we were getting. Finally, American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, El Toro Blanco, Rush, and Danielson wins. He gets his title match. But now let's talk about the trios. On Dynamite, we get the entrances. We don't get the entrance, apparently, on Rampage anymore. But it's the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, taking on AR Fox and Top Flight. Linda Kay, Dante, and Darius Martin are stars. And AR Fox isn't too bad either.
Absolutely. As long as you have the Elite as your trios world champions, you're going to get these solid high-flying matches, just like we got in that best of 7. I mean, you have Top Flight and AR Fox doing just as much shenanigans, trickery, high-flying stuff that we would expect facing the Elite. And it was another banger, as we have mentioned already in today's episode, but that's just awesome to see. I enjoy these matches, and I know we're not going to get any like best of 7 type scenario again anytime soon, but with this trio, with the trio, that was my headset. With the trios, the champions being the Elite. I know last week we had a different 3-man combo. I just feel that if these titles are ever going to come off of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, it's going to be somebody else that's quite equal as far as the high-flying stuff, like we saw with Death Triangle, which I was curious. I was wondering if they were going to come back and
they're going to get their, I was going to say, get back their, in a 7-match thing, get their, rematch in 7 matches.
I don't know about the 7 matches, but I think at some point, I think we're going to see the Elite defend the titles for quite a bit. Then all of a sudden, bang, we're going to have Death Triangle back stronger than ever.
All right. Matthew Thomas, let's talk about the main event. But before we do, apparently, if you say the word hook in any sort of negative connotation, you have to pay a price. Could be an arm bar. It could be half a chicken wing. Matthew Thomas, your thoughts on Hook getting physical with Stokely?
I thought it was a great movie, a really nice retelling of Peter Pan and some of Robin Williams' best work.
The main event, the Acclaimed. I don't even know where to take that.
It took me a moment.
The Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Matt Caster with Daddy Ass, technically, taking on the Guns, Austin and Colton. I did not see this coming. We have a winner, and we have new tag team champions. I really do feel that the Acclaimed get this back possibly at the pay-per-view. But Matthew, the winner of the match is the Guns. Ass
Well,
boys,
it was
champion.
main eventing, so it felt like it could be a possible title change here. But like we talked about last week, I thought there was going to be more interaction with Billy. I thought he was going to be potentially decisive in this. And man, they hung on that shot to close the show with Billy and the Acclaim for a long time. I mean, just the way that he was kind of standing behind him a little bit. You thought, but very, very possibly a turn might come. So I think all that was done intentionally. I mean, they held that before they went to the signature and before they went to whatever was next up on TBS for a long time.
The signature, is that some fancy TV terminology?
Yeah. I guess they've got a signature. Don't think WWE does the little thing in the bottom of the corner?
Yeah. They call that a bug, I think. I think the signature is the opening. I don't know.
Oh, it might be.
Let's talk SmackDown.
Super is the name.
Yeah, that's right. Let's talk SmackDown, and we're gonna start with you, Matthew. It's really the storyline that everybody wants, everybody needs. This time it's Sami Zayn talking to Paul Heyman, and Sami backs Paul up into a corner. You know, Paul Heyman in his little promo made a great point. He's being attacked on two fronts. He's got the Sami Zayn front, and he's got the Cody Rhodes front. Because you know that promo from last Monday that we didn't get to, but that promo with Cody and Paul got Paulie a little teary-eyed as well because, you know, Paulie obviously a big fan of Dusty Rhodes and, you know, they cut it real and then he cut it hard, dropped the mic, gone. Matthew, your thoughts on Paul Heyman's work and Sami Zayn coming at him?
Top notch from Paul Heyman as always. And it amazes me, like, how quick we have shifted gears from, you know, very comic Sami to this Sami that everybody is so invested in and everybody's taking super, super seriously. I mean, this in a couple weeks, we might have the most serious Sami Zayn that we've ever had. And to see them be able to shift gears so quick, I think tells a lot about this book and tells a lot about Sami, tells a lot about Heyman and everybody involved.
Linda Kay, Sami Zayn's got a title match this Saturday at the Elimination Chamber in Montreal in front of his family, his friends. What's going to happen?
Well, for starters, the way SmackDown ended, where it's showing Jimmy Uso watching, you know, the television screen in back, and you have Paul Heyman saying, "Hey, it's great that your brother's got your back, but next week we're gonna have you stay off because what you may not see on while you're here live tells a true tale when you see it back on TV. Not in those words, but
yeah,
that's gonna show that little interaction we had with Sami and Jey Uso by the trucks there. But the you know that they're still the team. They're still friends, colleagues, if you will. But I'm just seeing something's going to happen because I'm assuming we'll have Roman at SmackDown this week. I think he's going to lay down the law, and I think Jay is going to be, against what he may actually want to do, is going to have to turn his back on Sami, even though he doesn't want to, but he's going to have to, and that will lead to what will happen at Elimination Chamber, which I feel Jey Uso turning on Sami, being a decisive factor in that win, loss, depending who it would be. But I think that's what's going to happen.
Whew, we got a lot of big stuff coming up at the Chamber, but let's get back into SmackDown because we had some other business that was taken care of as well. We saw that Tag Team Championship defended against the team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet. You know what? I never knew I needed this team before, but Braun Strowman and Ricochet looking really solid, but that's not really the big story. Natalya is out there, right? Just kind of doing her own thing. Here comes Ronda Rousey to return, and they beat down Shotzi and Natalya with the help of Shayna Baszler. Are the new women's tag team champions being presented to us in front of our eyes? Is it Ronda and Shayna?
Very possible. And that title is still vacant, right?
No, it's not vacant. It's on Damage Control.
Oh, that's right.
They don't ever defend it. But...
Yeah, and I guess there's that one title. There's not a SmackDown specific title. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. Or, I mean, you got a couple different ways you can go. I mean, there was some tension that was teased there between Ronda and Shayna. Like, I'm intrigued by that. But no, I mean, I think they need a title run.
You know, I agree. They look so good and so dominant. They can totally kick ass as the women's tag team champions.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. We were talking about the Usos in Elimination Chamber. I forgot to mention this. There is a story out there that says that it's either Jay or Jimmy. I forget which one, but they're not allowed into Canada.
Yeah.
And that is part of the reason why they're not going to be at the Elimination Chamber this Saturday.
Okay, then I retract my
Yeah.
theory there.
Had to throw that out there. Hey, but you know, we had a theory about Matt Cardona showing up. What show would he show up to? Because his wife is on both, apparently. Here's a match between Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez taking on Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. Has she gotten a hold of the manager yet? Because that seems to be her gig. You know, do I need to speak to the manager? Where's the manager? I want to talk to the manager. Well, Chelsea not winning and pretty much getting dominated over and over so far in her wrestling career back in WWE, Linda Kay.
I think it's a nice way to reintroduce her to the WWE audience and giving her a spotlight. And it's a funny thing. I mean, she came she made her debut at the Rumble, getting a quick elimination. Let's keep it rolling with, you know, her giving us some comedic segments. I mean, I always think back about her being that bride in the Impact days. So I know she's great at telling these stories and making us laugh. And I've enjoyed what she's done so far with. Yeah,
I'm happy with it. Mm-hmm. Matthew Thomas, Chelsea Green returning, but let's also talk about Madcap Moss, Rey Mysterio, Karrion Kross, and Santos Escobar in a fatal four-way to become a #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Madcap Moss, along with Emma, is now the new #1 contender.
Yeah, I didn't see it going this way. I thought he was probably the last person to actually win this. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's good to watch anybody match up against Gunther, but I don't think this is who takes it off of him.
That was SmackDown. Let's get to Rampage real quick here and talk about, again, excuse me, a handful of matches we've got in trios action. The Blackpool Combat Club, it's Claudio, it's Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta against the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian. I don't know why, but honestly, I think the next tag team champions need to be the Butcher and the Blade. I think they work well. They don't get enough TV time, and if you can't get enough of that Butcher mustache, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Yeah, give me some old school vignettes. We've actually seen the Butcher in the kitchen just a couple times. Like, I want you to start with some like freaking late '80s, early '90s WWF vignettes of the Butcher chopping meat.
That's right, because chopping meat, not chops on meat, but chopping meat. Linda Kay.
Choppy.
Yeah, choppy, not the pee-pee. Linda Kay, your feelings on Butcher and the Blade?
Yeah. I mean, they've been there since day one, I do believe, since the inception of AEW. So, I mean, we know their strengths. We know they're strong. They've been around, and they've proved themselves that they are true contenders. And it'd be nice if they'd be a great heel tag. But our current tag team champs are heels. So
the Ass Boys, but who's to say they don't lose back to the Acclaimed again?
True. But yeah, no, it'd be cool to see Butcher and Blade, and I agree in the backstage dance. You can do so much with that with the cleaver and the apron.
Ooh, like Ward Cleaver and June Cleaver.
Yes.
That's right. Ward was a little hard on the Beaver last night, but that's not the show that we're watching. So let's talk about
Bunny carrying in the hunks of meat.
Oh yeah, Bunny holding the meat.
In.
That's right, skipping in, holding on to the meat. The Jericho Appreciation Society went after Murr and Quinn of Impractical Jokers, putting them through a table, and they took back Jericho's tiny little bat. Did you notice that bat's not full size? I mean, did you see the size of that bat? I mean, come on.
It's a T-ball bat, practically.
It is a T-ball bat.
Yeah, I think it was a different Floyd. That did make me chuckle, just being a fan of Impractical Jokers. I figured this was going to happen, and I'm like, okay, figure he's going to drop Murr when that happened. But it was cute. It was funny. I enjoyed it. And a great way to cross-promote. Yeah,
to be honest, and Jericho's already been on the show before, so it's not like he doesn't have a working relationship with the guys. I don't particularly enjoy the show. I'm waiting for it to be funny. There'll be a day. It'll get funny at some point for me. But it is not funny to me. Matthew Thomas, your thoughts on Jericho's mini bat?
It was fun, and it was a decent celebrity spot. I mean, that was as far as celebrity spots go, that was fairly aggressive. I mean, you had basically one person powerbombed on another person through a table. So, that was pretty fun, especially very fun for those of us who quite enjoy that program.
We had the Ruby Soho and Marina Shafir match, but I want to talk more about the backstage interview afterwards with the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, Mark Briscoe. We got to hear Briscoe on TV on AEW television is Ring of Honor TV tapings on the way?
I hope so. You've got an immense amount of talent there. You got to showcase.
Linda, Mark Briscoe on TV, along with Jungle Boy taking on Ryan Nemeth. We haven't seen Ryan Nemeth in a while. He's is he a Hollywood blonde? Is that what he goes by? With that being the brother of
Hollywood
Dolph Ziggler.
Hunk,
Hollywood
I
Hunk,
think.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Hollywood, Florida. So, I mean, I don't know if that goes for anything. Brian Cage and Prince Nana on the ramp. Cage turning to Jungle Boy. Taunting Jungle Boy. Is there a match there at the pay-per-view between Cage and Jungle Boy? Again, that's the kind of thing that you want to do. Rey Mysterio's done it all his life, the David and Goliath story there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that happening. I think they always allude to the match that Cage and Jungle Boy had, I believe, not too long ago. But yeah, let's build something with them. And we want to see more Jungle Boy. I think Jungle Boy could be a future world champion at AEW. Let's just, keep highlighting him as a solo star. And I think him having this David Goliath, well, yeah, it's a David Goliath story-ish. So, have him defeat Brian Cage eventually and keep things rolling for him.
Yeah. I'd like to see the name change. This is a Matthew Thomas thought, but I'm going to add it in there and have Matthew agree to it afterwards. Instead of Jungle Boy, Jungle Jack Perry. We need to drop the boy out of there, Matthew Thomas.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And it works better because you've got the alliteration with the J's. And I mean, it's not he's got to be, and you're not going to go Jungle Man,
Jungle Man.
Jungle
Man.
or does he wrestle somebody with the stipulation if he wins he gets to be Jungle Man?
So his puberty goes away if he wins the match. Because Jungle Man.
What's really, really entertaining is if during promos, like he just accentuates like this voice change or something,
just like the scene from Guardians of the Galaxy or the Avengers or whichever one, because they're all melted together. He goes, "Why are you talking like this? Is my natural voice." When Star-Lord is talking to Thor and Thor's around, he's got a deep voice. This is how we always talk.
Absolutely.
All right, main event time, the All-Atlantic Championship match, which seems to be a Rampage staple. It's freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy with Danhausen taking on the Firm's Lee Moriarty with Stokely Hathaway, and the winner of the match, of course, is freshly squeezed. Now, here's the big news at the end. Satnam Singh walks onto the ramp, distracts Orange and Danhausen. Here comes Lethal and Jarrett. They jump Orange and Danhausen from behind. They hit him with the Golden Globe. Here comes the Best Friends down to even up the numbers. But the Acclaim at the end finally run to the ring and chase off Lethal, Jarrett, and Singh. So does that mean that the Acclaim and Jarrett and Singh with Lethal are going to have a match before we get the Acclaimed and the Butcher and the Blade?
Possibly. Yes, that is a unique twist to the mix. I was just trying to think. There is potentially 3. I was thinking if it was like a trios kind of thing, but it's kind of Best Friends is a foursome. Jarrett, Lethal, and Singh are a threesome, and then the Acclaimed are two.
Well, Danhausen doesn't have to wrestle.
But he does. So
he does, but that's what I'm saying. I mean,
are we going to get like a 14-man match? I'm not adding that correctly, just kind of throwing that out there. But that is interesting to bring up because there hasn't been a recent feud between the Acclaimed and Lethal and Jarrett until possibly now.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about it. Saturday night, February 18th, 7 Central, 8 Eastern for those people on the East Coast, because, again, I'm not dealing with that East Coast bias. It's 7 Central, 8 Eastern on the Peacock Network, a premium live event. Linda Kay, it's the Elimination Chamber. The main event is Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns one-on-one for undisputed World Heavyweight Universal Championship. Let's hear your prediction.
I've got to come up with that new finish now that I've heard here that the
Usos
are not going to be in Canada.
What is that all about?
Yes. Huh. Well, we see. It isn't it's not a no DQ, right? It's just
a straight match as far as I understand.
No stipulations.
Straight match.
Okay. Let's see. We have Paul Heyman that could be out there. Can Solo be at ringside that we know of?
I don't think he has any travel restrictions.
Okay, we got But we have KO as well, who can help out Sami.
Well, KO's got to be there. It's part of the story.
Yeah.
And he's in Montreal, eh?
I feel, let's just say if the Usos cannot be there, but you have Solo who could be. I say that Solo comes in to help out the tribal chief at some point, and then you have KO come out to try to help counteract that. But I think then you also have Heyman, who is the holder of those titles, and somehow, Heyman's been involved in a lot of what we've seen these past couple weeks here.
Heyman talks some pretty sharp garbage. He talks some pretty sharp trash for not getting physical with anybody.
That could be it then. If we don't have the Usos there, I think you have KO and Solo going at it, but now you have Heyman who can interfere as well while the ref is down. I think that might do it. That might seal the victory there for
Roman.
Thank
Reigns.
you. Team long time, by the way.
All right, Matthew, let's hear it. Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Championship.
WWE knows they potentially have lightning in a bottle right here with Sami. They're in Canada, all right? Potentially no Usos there. And we got Heyman and Cody Rhodes the other night in a great promo pretty early in this WrestleMania feud. That is because the WrestleMania feud you think you're getting, you're not getting. That was the peak of Cody and Paul Heyman. Look for Sami to win the Undisputed Championship here at Elimination Chamber after The Rock comes to Sami's aid, and you have a great finish, almost like Foley winning the title with all that interference. Rock comes to Sami's aid, sets up Rock Roman at WrestleMania, and you get a great main event in Sami and Cody with the WWE Universe split. Yes, book it.
Well, that's fantasy booking. What do you really think is going to happen?
Yeah, you know what? I'm laying that down.
All right.
Lay the SmackDown.
Layeth the prediction down, Matthew Thomas. The man they call Meathead says Roman Reigns retains due to some sort of shenanigans. It's wrestling. Let's talk about the Elimination Chamber. There's a couple matches that are going to be in there. First off, we've got the 6 competitors that will vie for the United States Championship. The champion, Austin Theory. You've got Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest. Linda Kay, what are your predictions on this particular match? Does Austin Theory come out of there with the United States Championship, or does he drop it to set up a one-on-one at WrestleMania with a guy that he can't see?
I think that he will still face the guy that we can't see at Mania, but I think that will be for the United States Championship. I think it's going to come close. You're going to think Seth Rollins is going to win this, but unfortunately he's not going to win because we are going to get that Seth Rollins Logan Paul match at Mania.
Ooh, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul, Matthew. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's very, very possible the way that's going. And I agree with Linda because you've got the history of Cena and the U.S. title. And I can very easily see that getting set up after Theory comes out of the Elimination Chamber, doing his own open challenge, and Cena answers that.
Well, that would make Theory a lot stronger, strong enough for Cena if he held it. I'd like to see a title change, and I'd like to see it go on to a beast, not Bronson Reed, a beast of a competitor in Montez Ford. I think this is an opportunity for Montez Ford to be a new United States champion.
Yep. That would be
but
free.
there hasn't been really any dissension between him and.
Why does there have to be dissension?
Yeah.
They had titles.
That'd be interesting.
You don't get that enough. You do not get the tag team where one person enters, a special match, the other one doesn't. Yeah, no dissension needed. You've got just a separation right there. I think that's really, really cool.
I'm okay with it. Let's talk women's side. And just bringing up the preview splash page that I have right now, looking at Asuka and that face paint. Wow, I absolutely love it. It is a Elimination Chamber match to determine the challenger to the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. So whoever wins this match is the #1 contender for Bianca Belair. You've got Carmella, Nikki Cross, Raquel, Asuka, that is Liv Morgan, and Natalya. So you got them across both brands, right? This match belongs to Asuka. Linda Kay?
I do believe so as well. That huge return at the Rumble. And just think about who on that WrestleMania marquee to headline, because this is going to be a closer for one of the nights of WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
And seeing Bianca and Asuka, and that's where there's friendly fire. I mean, there wasn't any heat between them after Asuka disappeared, so it's going to be one of those where it's good on good. I feel, even though Asuka could go the other way. I mean, it is the evil clown face paint, but we love that. The crowd loves that. I think it'd be just a good face on face kind of feud going into Mania, and I do see the titles changing hands eventually, and it'd be great to have Asuka as champion once again. Although I love Bianca as well, but.
Love Bianca as well. Matthew, does she flicker on the nose before the match starts? Like that thing she did to Becky.
Yeah. I hope so. No, I think it's going to be Asuka here. Raquel would not surprise me, but Asuka seems to make more sense.
Maybe Raquel has a strong showing in the match, but Asuka wins at the end. How about that? Well, we've got more strong females going to be competing at the Elimination Chamber this Saturday, and it's going to be husband and wife versus members of the Judgment Day. You've got Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, and Edge taking on Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Mommy is getting in a match at Elimination Chamber. Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, I think Judgment Day. I think Mommy's got to look strong here. I mean, she's going up for the title at WrestleMania. And I know it's a feel-good thing with Edge and Beth, but my goodness, I don't know that you have her look vulnerable going into Mania like that.
No.
Yeah.
Linda Kay, I gotta agree. Go ahead, Linda.
I was just saying we'll have Dum, as Mommy calls him, and Damian Priest as well. I know Damian's in that Elimination Chamber match. Doesn't mean he can't be out there to interfere in some way.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, I agree. Concur. Judgment Day wins, double win, by the way, for me. Will be a win and an appearance, because if Dom shows up, that's an appearance. If it's a win, that's a win for the Judgment Day for the man they call Meathead in the PWR draft.
I think that after this match, between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, there's a strong possibility that Judgment Day is a face stable. I mean, they're right on
what?
People
love.
People love Judgment Day, yeah. And I think Rhea's going to have a ton of momentum, a ton of the fans behind her at Mania. And, I mean, people are just like, people know that Dom serves some hard time.
No.
They're ready to get behind him.
Matthew Thomas, I know Dom slept on his bologna sandwiches that one night he was in there, but all Rhea Ripley has to do is be at the side of Dominic while he goes after Rey Mysterio. That's a heel stable. There's no face there whatsoever. All right, that is the Elimination Chamber. That's 4 matches right there. Wow. And that's, I mean, Royal Rumble had 4 matches as well? It might have been 5.
I think 5 to the Black.
Royal Rumble went 4 hours and 12 minutes. How long is Elimination Chamber?
I think a standard 3.
Yeah, okay. You're gonna under that. Yeah, I think 3 is good.
Okay, let's talk about the PWR fantasy draft, and let's talk about who's going to be appearing at the pay-per-view this week. Linda Kay, you've got Roman, Alexa Bliss, Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, Gunther, who I don't think's on the card, Chris Jericho, definitely not on the card. Charlotte
Unless
Flair,
he's in the crowd, that'd get appearance.
He could be in the crowd. So what Linda's saying is anybody in a mask is potentially Chris Jericho, and she wants appearance points.
Yes.
Not going to happen. Linda's got Kevin Owens. He should be appearing. John Cena could be appearing. Very unlikely, but there's a possibility. Braun Strowman probably not appearing. And Linda's got Asuka, who could be winning that Elimination Chamber match. Matthew Thomas, let's talk about you. RK Bro.
Yeah, this is where they come back.
RK Bro, where are you? Yeah, Matthew's got Cody. Does Cody have a match this week or at the pay-per-view?
No, but he's probably going to stop by and say hello.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Unless he interferes in the main event.
To pull Paul Heyman in that finish.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. The Usos, who apparently can't go into Canada, so they won't be at the pay-per-view.
Oh, I didn't think about it. Yeah.
Seth Rollins in the big match. You've also got Becky Lynch. I don't think she has a match either, does she, Matthew?
She's probably going to be there by ringside to cheer Seth Rollins on.
Probably during the Bray Wyatt match. That's not happening either, right?
She'll probably get in the chamber to get appearance and specialty match points.
Rhea Ripley, Ronda Rousey, who did show up on SmackDown this week, but won't be at the chamber. Theory, who's defending in the chamber and could win that. Bailey, no match. And Matthew's got The Rock.
Yes, like we talked about earlier. Oh.
You keep trying, Matthew. I do not think you're defending the title this year. And then the man they call Meathead, Judgment Day with a match, also has Sami Zahn in a title match. If Matthew's prediction comes true, the man they call Meathead wins the title tonight, or this Saturday, excuse me. Bobby Lashley without a match. Dominic Mysterio hopefully going to appear. Moxley won't be appearing. Neither will the Brawling Brutes or Bryan Danielson. I don't think Brock Lesnar shows up, even though he's got his match that they're building to. Wait, wasn't that supposed to happen? Didn't they say that they were going to get a match between Bobby and Brock at the Elimination Chamber?
That's what was proposed, but I don't
that
know
was
if it was
part of the that was part of the promo. So we don't know about that yet. So we'll have to see how Bobby does. Liv Morgan got dropped. I have MJF now. Juggle Jack Perry and Edge. I mean, Edge isn't going to get a win. I think Judgment Day wins that as well. So let's talk about the points before we head out here tonight. Leading the PWR fantasy draft with only 2 months left to go, the team they call Linda K's long time Linda K, 3,535 points. The man they call Meathead at second with a team of Meatheads, 3,370 points, and then somewhere in the back, Team Matthew Nelson Mandela, 3,110 points.
Just a knocking on that door in striking distance. It's anybody's game.
Folks, this has been PWR Weekly, PWR Today. Linda K has something to say before we head out.
Can we discuss the huge shocking turn on NXT this week with Toxic Attraction? It was on the special edition of Ding Dong Hello. We had Bailey on NXT for that very reminiscent segment there of the barbershop incident. We had a super kick and a foot in the face. There wasn't blood, there wasn't glass, but there was a knock into the literally push knock into the door that was on the set, and a boot directly into the face of oh man
of
Gigi Dolan.
Yes.
Yeah, no, JC Jane was the one who turned on Gigi Dolan.
Good to see NXT get an iconic moment like that. As good as wrestling is, like, I think when you kind of go through outside of Dexter, that storyline, Dexter Loomis, you kind of don't have those iconic NXT moments in this version. So it's good to see them get a little bit something sports entertainment like that.
Fair enough. And where's it go from here, I guess, is what I'm really wondering. I mean, something for TakeOver on WrestleMania weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's still a ways away, but I mean, obviously Toxic Attraction no more without the leader, without Mandy Rose there.
Mandy's making $1 million, showing off her knuckles and her elbows on, her fans only site. So
no Toxic Attraction no more, but it was just a big iconic moment, if you will, there for NXT this
I'd like to see in the next couple of years, when Mandy is allowed back in a company, that the three of them get together on a SmackDown or a Raw or whatever, and boom, Toxic Attraction again, because that was a very strong group. All right. As I was saying, we've got Elimination Chamber this Saturday on the Peacock Premium Live event. We've only got, 2 events left after that. After the Elimination Chamber, we've got Revolution from AEW, and we've got WrestleMania. Now, if any of our talents show up on the NXT TakeOver, of course, there's some bonus points in there as well. But Linda K, I'm looking at you, because Matthew Thomas, we don't pay any attention to Matthew.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly what I want you to do.
Linda K, it's you and me. Can you hold your 100-plus point lead? I don't think so. I think it's time for the team they call Meatheads.
Of getting MJF before that in the Rumble, but things that have happened and I forgot to do it. I think that would make me feel a little more confident. But I don't know. This makes it more of a fun down to the wire. Who shall win by a
That's right. Coming up next, the winner. All right. For Matthew Thomas, for the lovely Lynn K, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you guys next week with Elimination Chamber results and our road to WrestleMania. So long, everyone.